long time no see. Welcome back to the Learning English Fast podcast. I'm Eli. Thank you so much for watching or listening today. Remember that the transcript is down in the description, as well as the vocabulary list as well. Also, don't forget, turn on the subtitles if you don't understand. It's okay. All right, so today the topic is my first time traveling alone. My first time traveling alone. I'm sure many people who are watching this have probably traveled in their life, and I know many people enjoy traveling as a hobby or something they want to do in the future. And I don't see why people don't like traveling, because when you travel, you can experience so many different things, different cultures, different people, and of course, different food. So my first time that I traveled by myself is when I went to China, into a city called Chengdu. And so before I went to India and Taiwan, but at those times I was going with people, and there were people I knew in that location. But when I went to China, Chengdu, for the first time, I was going by myself, and I knew no one over there. I really had no connections whatsoever. So it was a really big step for me and a really big adventure for me. So of course, when we have to go, traveling, we have to prepare. You prepare a backpack, you prepare a suitcase, you prepare like your socks, your underwear, everything you need for this trip. And since this was my first time really going to a place by myself, I overpacked. And maybe you know, but the word overpacked means packing too much. I had too many clothes, too many things I brought with me because I was nervous. It was my first time going to a country by myself. So I brought way too much things, and my bag was so heavy. My backpack was also so heavy, and it was a horrible, it was very difficult to walk around and pull the heavy bag and carry the heavy backpack. But in the end, I'm happy I overpacked actually, because I brought so many things that I loved from my home in America. So I guess in the end, it was okay. I also brought my guitar with me because my guitar has a very special place in my heart. So there in China, almost every day I would play guitar by myself, and I would sing by myself. And sometimes it was lonely, but it was a really good experience either way. Another thing I did before traveling to China was I studied the culture. I read the history of the city I would go to in Chengdu. I read about the people. I read about the food. Because if I go there, I want to have a good understanding of what I will experience and what I should expect. So being able to study, about the city or the place before you go, that's a really good idea, I think, before you, travel by yourself. I also tried to learn language a little bit before going to China. I told you guys before, I lived in Taiwan before I went to China, but I was still practicing Chinese, and I still was not that good. And so many words I did not know, and it was very difficult for me to understand if somebody was speaking Chinese to me, because in my ears it felt so fast I could not grab it. But I tried to learn the language, and I think learning a language before going to a new country is important. You don't have to learn the language perfectly, but you should try to have at least the basics of the language before you go to that country to experience it. But that's just my opinion. I remember when I was on the plane, and the plane was about to land in the airport in Chengdu. I was looking out the window, and I was thinking, wow, China is so big. It was such a big city, and I felt so small at that moment. And I was thinking, why am I going here? like, why am I doing this? But I knew I had to go. I knew I had to go. So it's just a very exciting time to be able to travel to a new country, no matter what it is. And even if you feel nervous, have courage and give it a shot. I think you can learn so many things. When I went on this journey of traveling by myself, I learned a lot about myself as well. I learned how important it is to make friends. And if you want to have good friends, you should try to be a good friend. Like people won't just come up to you and talk with you. You have to go up to people. You have to take the first step to talk to someone because other people, they don't want to, most people are very shy or they have no courage. So they don't want to, take the first step. You have to do it. You have to be the one that does it. And so that really helped me be able to like make the first step and talk, even if I don't want to. And I made really good connections because of that. Another good thing that really helped me when I was in China was that if I understanding, it's good, but if I don't understand, that's okay. I don't need to understand every single word. I don't need to understand every single little part of the culture, but it helped me to relax more because I saw, okay, even if I don't understand the language perfectly, it's fine because I'm just enjoying my time here. I'm just enjoying being with my friends here. So it was a really good, I think, lesson that I needed to learn. Yeah. One of my experiences that really stood out when I lived there was nearby my home, there was a long road. And on that road, there were so many bars or pubs, places where people go and drink alcohol. And I really wanted to make new friends. So I bought online a cajon. Cajon. A cajon is a special instrument for playing like drums. And I bought one of those online and I took it with me at night to that bar street because there are so many different like street performers playing guitar or piano outside. So I brought my cajon with me and I found one guy who was playing guitar. I put my cajon next to, is it still on? It is. Nice. I put my cajon next to him and then I started to play as he was singing and he was so happy. And we started talking after that. And every time he would go out and play guitar, he would send me a message and say, "Hey, Eli, can you come play your drum with me?" And I did. And he received so much money from the street people, but I received nothing. Sometimes he would give me a free meal, which I was happy to receive. But the most important thing for me was the friendship. I was able to make a good friend when I was there in China. And eventually he became more popular. And even some bars, they called him to perform inside the bar. And so he said, "Eli, can you perform with me?" And I said, "Of course." And so I brought my cajon into the bars with him. And we played for the drunk people in the bars. It was very exciting. But I don't drink alcohol. But it was still very nice. And the owner of the bar, he would sometimes offer me alcohol, saying, "Here, Eli, please drink." And I said, "Oh no, I'm fine, I'm fine." So that was a really great experience. Yeah. So, what advice do I give you if you want to travel abroad by yourself? The first piece of advice I want to give you is remember to research. Research the country, research the city, research the people, research the language, research the food. You want to try to have a little bit of an understanding of the place that you're going to. Don't just go there blind. You should try to understand before you go. And I really believe when you go there, it would be much more smoother, 100%. Another piece of advice I give you as well, and this depends if you're going to be there a long time or a short time, but if you're going to be there a long time, don't pack so many things because you can buy some cheap clothes there or whatever, but bring like enough for you to live, but not too many things because of course you want to bring stuff back as well, right? And if you're going for a short time, I think the same advice, don't pack so much because again, you'll want to buy like souvenirs or things when you return. So pack light, don't pack so much things. Also, it makes it much easier for traveling in the country if you don't have so many things when you go. Yeah, so those are my pieces of advice for you and just my story of my first time traveling alone. And today is actually the 10th episode of this podcast. Yay! Subarashi. So thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for listening as well. And please, if you have any suggestions of ideas you want me to talk about, write it down in the comments and I'll try to do it as soon as possible. Thank you so much for your support and I will see you later. Bye-bye.